I am delighted to be here. I'm particularly glad to see some former members of our legislature, Harold Holt, Ronnie Cole, and others like Judy who serve in Nashville. It's a hard job. You don't have much help, and you're away from home a lot, trying to do the work for us all. And I want you to know that all of us appreciate what you all have done and are continuing to do for this community in our part of the state. I thought I'd talk a little bit about some other people too. I go from Memphis to Clarksville and everywhere in between quite a bit. And I can tell you that the civic leadership here in Dyer County is second to none. The extraordinary effort that is put into bettering this community by people who don't hold public office, but who care a great deal about the future of our part of the state and the people who are going to come after us, have meant a lot to me. They mean a lot to us, whether we know it or not. This is a tough time, as the chairman said, but there's some exciting things, I believe, going on in our part of the state and our part of the world that will help us all together leave this place a better place. Highway 69. We are now trying to connect with Troy to the Kentucky line. That process is moving. They are moving dirt, they're moving utilities, and hopefully sooner rather than later that will connect. And of course, you know, from Troy to Dyersburg is already interstate quality. I was down in Brownsville this morning before I came over here, meeting with some business people about health insurance premiums, as the chairman suggested, or as Alan suggested in your survey, as well as the mega site down there. Huge deal. And I think that given the fact that what's good for Haywood County is good for Crockett County, it's good for Lauderdale County, it's good for Dyer County, it's good for Madison County, on and on and on, that's going to be a big deal. But now I want to talk just a minute about what is really a real passion, and that's all the help that we received trying to put this port together over in Lake County. Jimmy Williamson, Don Pennington, John Lanham, Randall Rhodes, Joe Hill's here. We have had meetings, I guess, over the last 8 to 10 years about this. All this will be, in my judgment, I see Macy Robertson back there, and Richard, you're on the board too. In my judgment, this will be the biggest game changer in the history of Northwest Tennessee. This will be the largest deep water, slack water port on the Mississippi River this far north from New Orleans. And for that fact alone, it is a huge deal. These folks have worked hours trying to put this together, and we all owe them a debt of gratitude. We're going to be presenting to the Secretary of Transportation, Ray LaHood, who happens to be a friend of mine. He was in Congress. He was from Illinois. A report or a request in September, and hopefully, if that comes through, we will have something here that we can build to. My dad was in World War II, and he was in France and Germany at the Battle of the Bulge. And I remember when he came back one time, I was talking to him, he said one of the strengths of the German Reich was the fact that they had developed the Rhine River all along it for the transportation of tonnage. We have two coasts in this country, but we've never developed the mid-coast, the Mississippi River, which drains 2/3 of this country, if you can imagine, like we could and should. And we are sitting here 20 miles from it with the opportunity to really make a difference, not just for us around here in our way of life, but for our country. Because as we invest in infrastructure, that brings job creation. And if we can invest in the infrastructure that will bring this job creation, we then have the ability to do all the rest of the stuff that we deem important, like education, healthcare, and so on. No country, if you look around the world, no country that does not have infrastructure is prospering. nobody's making any money. If there's no port, there's no bridge across the river, there's no utilities, nobody making any money. Infrastructure has to be there for private enterprise to grow, prosper, and create the kind of economic activity that we all want for ourselves and our children. Of course, the other thing that does is it begets the other things about human capital. You look, history, no nation has ever been strong and free with an unhealthy, uneducated population. It's simply not possible. And so as jobs are created, we then are hopefully in the business of creating the educational opportunities. Dyersburg State is doing a lot of good things right now, as well as Dyersburg Public School System, but as well as Dyer County. But the other thing, and I want to talk about this a little bit because it's kind of a hot topic now, is healthcare reform. I hope that we can bring some of the emotionalism out of it because we truly have a problem. Most every reasonable person I've talked to, and I've been talking to providers, to small business groups, to individuals who cannot get health insurance at any price because they have pre-existing illness, and some of them are very young people, about how we can fix what we have that's broken and keep what we have that actually works and works pretty well. There is a level of high anxiety in the country right now. Personally, I think it goes back to 9/11. If you look back at this decade, on 9/11, our sense of security was shaken for the first time since really Pearl Harbor. We had this security break. We had the strongest army in the world. We had the strongest Navy. We had the most advanced fighters. We had the best submarine fleet ever devised by human beings. And yet, someone attacked us with catastrophic almost results of Twin Towers going down in the largest city in our country. And from there, we started to question some of the things that we had pretty much become accustomed to accepting at face value. Then we had the situation of the financial, not collapse, but the near collapse of the financial system, brought on by a lot of activity that in my view went on outside the regulatory system. If you look back, we had 2001, 9/11. Around 2003, if one looks back, there were some smart guys that figured out they would start creating mortgages and package them, peddle them to Wall Street to the investment bank houses, and then they would package them and resell them. And also, this derivatives market sprang up, all outside the traditional regulatory system for banks. They originated these mortgages not based on the creditworthiness of the borrower, but on the underlying value of the asset. Well, as long as housing prices around the country are going up 10–15% a year, there wasn't much problem. But when the housing bubble burst, all of a sudden, last year, Secretary Paulson at that time and Chairman Bernanke of the Federal Reserve came over to the Capitol one Thursday afternoon and said if Congress doesn't act and act quickly, the financial system in this country is going to collapse. Freezing the credit markets with disastrous results for everybody that's in business. Well, that's a pretty sobering thought. Again, shaking the confidence of all of us in the institutions of government. And so after that, you had the stock market beginning to crater back in January, February with no end in sight. So the powers that be decided that we needed a stimulus package. I talked to 7 or 8 macro PhD economists at that time. The market was falling through the floor, down to 5,000 or something, with no end in sight, if you remember. 7 or 8 of them, from the right of the political spectrum to the left of the political spectrum, everywhere in between. Every one of them. From Marty Feldstein, PhD economist at Harvard on the right, to the guy at Michigan, I can't remember his name, on the left.